Hello everyone, welcome to St Andrews again, Birmingham this time. I'm a little bit worried because there is no one else in here. It's completely empty pretty much, and even the press box is empty, which kind of makes me think they're about to close the ground down and I might get locked in. So this might not be the longest report, but Norwich have won here 3-1, which is the headline act. And this was a really interesting game, especially in the context of what I'm writing about. And I've got to finish now when I get back. That will be on The Athletic tomorrow, so keep an eye out for it. It'll be there on Wednesday morning. But Daniel Farke almost said it himself that this was as proud as he's been, I think, about a win. And I kind of sense that the way Norwich reacted to their first half tonight, when they were, I think it was 1-1. They'd missed a penalty. They'd taken the lead before that through Teemu Pukki. Teemu's penalty was then saved really well by Nathan Etheridge. The goal was beautifully worked as well, completely against the run of play. Birmingham created so many decent opportunities from crosses, maybe not quite getting on the end of them. Norwich defended okay in that part, but they then conceded a horrendous equaliser that basically came from their own hideous errors, and Daniel Farke actually labelled it a half-own goal, which made me laugh. And they were incredibly lucky, really, to go in at half-time level because they were just not at it in terms of their play without the ball, in terms of the pressure they put Birmingham under, and it was all a bit too passive, even though they created good opportunities. Interesting, Ollie Skip kind of said that maybe Birmingham were a little bit more aggressive than they were expecting. Daniel Farke said that too. Norwich were expecting a low block, and it wasn't quite like that. They pressed quite high. Well, they didn't press high, but they pressed quite aggressively. They broke quite well. They put in some really good crosses. They were allowed to do that as well. And that just seemed to sort of catch Norwich out a little. Then you take into account the fact that their level wasn't really there, and it all added up to a pretty horrendous first half. But I think you kind of sense that Norwich wouldn't be as bad in the second half. And in fairness, the reaction was excellent. So Daniel Farke made changes at the right times, made them for the right reasons. I'll get onto that in a bit. And although the game wasn't much better in what Norwich were doing in the second half, actually they had a much greater degree of control of it. Birmingham didn't really have a chance in the second half. Norwich kept them at arm's length. And while I think when you're watching as a supporter and you're going, oh gosh, this is leaving me on the edge of my seats, in actual fact, their management of the game in that second half was miles better and a huge improvement. And I think that lended itself to a really useful 3-1 victory that sets Norwich 10 points clear. Obviously the other teams have got to play as well. None of their main rivals played tonight, but still to be in that position 10 points clear is one thing, but to have 67 points from 67 points from 32 games is obviously a phenomenal record as they stand right now. The goals in the second half, the second one came Emi Buendia's shot, I think. Anel Hernandez, who come on, did really well when he came on, actually caused a good impact. Emi Buendia's shot ended up deflecting to Teemu Pukki. It was a bit like his goal at Leeds a couple of years ago. Right place, right time, but he's anticipated it really well and rolled into an empty net. And then the 5th minute of added time, Birmingham have a free kick. Daniel Farke brings on Sorensen and Jordan Hugill for Emi Buendia and Anel Hernandez, who just come on, and that's, a subbed is never a nice thing to be. But in actual fact, the free kick comes in. Jordan Hugill clears with the second phase, clears with his head, and Lucas Rupp runs 80 yards before slotting to Ollie Skip, who was very good today, I thought, again, once he raised his level like a lot of them after the break. And he slotted home his first senior goal. He did really well to get there in the first place, to be honest, but so fair play to Ollie. It was interesting how he said that maybe it surprised them a little bit how aggressive Birmingham were, as I said. But also apparently when that third goal went in, Daniel Farke turned to Anel Hernandez and said, yeah, that's why. I think Anel was kind of like, yeah, fair enough, because Jordan Hugill won the header and also got up the pitch. And if Ollie Skip hadn't slotted home the third, then I imagine Jordan would have done. So yes, all in all, just a a great result and a great way that Norwich have dealt with this game, and I think it does kind of reiterate the fact that they do have these gears that they're managing to find. Birmingham were unlucky. They've got a very good striker in Scott Hogan, and I do kind of feel that if they pull things together enough, they should be okay. The Championship table is quite awkward. Obviously, I've got my I'm in the midst of my Paul Warne Lovin, and I'm looking at Rotherham, and they've got a really difficult task staying up even with games in hand, because the teams directly above them are good teams, and the teams you would hope maybe might get dragged into it are that bit further ahead, like Millwall and Luton in their point of view. And I think Birmingham again are a side that have enough quality, they'll probably just keep the bottom three at arm's length. Norwich will get an experience of the bottom three, of course, on Sunday lunchtime when they head to Wickham. It'll be my first visit to Adams Park. I've never been, so there's not many grounds that I've not been to, but that is one of them, so I'm looking forward to that. It will be interesting, given there's a 5-day break now between that and then, and obviously the schedule's been pretty difficult and full on recently. So there's a bit of a break, but of course after that, it's hard not to think about it. Brentford at Carrow Road is going to be a huge game, that one, and we'll see what Brentford do between now and then, because Norwich have kind of firmly smacked the ball back into their court as well as the court of Watford and Swansea, so it's up to them to respond. But Norwich are doing what they need to do. They're not necessarily doing it the easy way, but they are doing enough. They do still look like they're more than capable of doing enough if they put their mind to it, and just kind of emphasises the fact that the team that may prove they're the one they've got to kind of beat. What am I trying to say? The only team that may beat Norwich this season is themselves, which is a lovely cliche thought, but it does feel quite apt at the moment. So obviously Jordan Hugill back in the squad, which is great news. Not many players out at the moment, and everyone's desperate to play, so it'll be interesting what Daniel Farke does on Sunday. It feels like the sort of game where managers tend to feel like giving players a chance who haven't played, but then is that maybe taking Wickham too lightly? I don't know. We'll see how it all plans out. But it finished 3-1 here. I think I've covered everything off. If I've missed something, please tell me. Leave your comments and questions, because I love reading them. Thanks for subscribing and watching as always. It's much appreciated on whichever channel this is. I'm going to be off for a few days this week, which is exciting and overdue, so I might go a little bit quiet, but rest assured I'll be at Adams Park, because I've never been, as I said. Hopefully I'll be able to find it. But here tonight, I finished Birmingham 1, Norwich City 3. I think what the kids say at this point is we move, we go again, all of those things. Have a lovely evening.